Varvatos, a sorcerer, is no longer recognized as a human because he has become too powerful. He reincarnates as a regular boy because no one can understand him. He intends to lead a regular life after being reborn as Ard Meteor. His abilities were regarded as average in the past, but due to a fall in magical power and knowledge, he's once again the most powerful sorcerer and warrior. Good for him, right? When he turns 10 years old, Ard wants to make friends, but because of his frightening past as the Demon Lord, he lacks the social skills, and the poor thing is viewed as scary by other kids. Mayor Olhide, a friend of Ard's parents, thinks Irina has withdrawn herself after being teased by her friends for having elf ancestry. Irina is using magic when Ard spots her and offers to teach her, but she runs away. Ard tries to be friends with Irina despite knowing she's Olhide's daughter. Irina gets attacked by goblins who have escaped a neighboring dungeon while she's by herself in the mountains, but Ard protects her. She then chooses to put her trust in Ard, who's relieved to have finally gained a friend. Years later, when they are best friends in their adolescent years, Irina advises that they enroll at the Academy of Magic. Ard and Irina are instantly enrolled by Headmaster Gold because they're the offspring of Olhide, one of the three great heroes, and Jack and Carla, the parents of Ard. A succubus named Ginny is protected by Irina from Iraldo Spencer, the son of a duke who Ginny's family serves, and he challenges Ard to a duel. One of Ard's former generals, Lady Olivia, serves as their instructor. Naturally, Ard chooses to keep his prior life as Varvatos a secret. Ard overcomes Iraldo in their battle after realizing that he had been concealing his weak magical prowess behind impressive spell names. Due to Ard's employment of the lost skills that haven't been seen since Demon Lord Varvatos, Olivia is wary of him. Things get interesting. The class is sent to a dungeon to hunt monsters by Olivia. Together, Ard, Irina, and Ginny form a team, but Ginny lacks confidence severely as a result of Iraldo's years of tormenting. She learns script magic from Ard, a lost skill that speeds up casting spells. The boss of the dungeon, a minotaur, attacks them. As they become friends, Ard permits Ginny to use script magic to deliver the fatal blow, and she experiences pride for the first time, which is super cool. Iraldo is ultimately confronted by Ginny, who humiliates him by slapping him. Ouch. Olivia pulls Ard for a private talk before he can flee. Gold urges Ard to compete in the Academy duel competition and win over the Queen in order to win more Academy money after Olivia brings him there. When Ginny asks him out while Irina insists on tagging along, Ginny agrees because she's pleased to share Ard with him and has plans to set him up in a harem, which Irina vehemently objects to. On their date, they go to see a play about Varvatos, but Ard is saddened by how it depicts Lydia, his late girlfriend, as a charming and romantic woman when in reality she was a fierce fighter. During the duel, Ard accidentally overhears a cultist gang plotting to capture the Queen. He then follows them underground. When they're apprehended, they confess that they drew them there to kill Ard. Except for the leader, who is shown to be a demon in disguise, Ard effortlessly defeats them. He runs away to the streets, where Ard kills him and the people cheer. In recognition of his bravery, Queen Rosie, an Irina acquaintance, summons the group. Initially joking that she would wed Ard to irritate Irina, she instead provides financing for the Academy, elevating Ard and Irina to the Pentagon class of mages while promoting Ginny to Triangle Mage. The cultists who managed to survive confess that they intended to fail in order to gauge Ard's might as part of their scheme to support their leader's global hegemony. Irina, who is severely jealous, scares away a student later identified as Lemming, who proclaims her love to Ard, albeit just to boost her own reputation. Ard declines to compete in the duel event because he's already secured the financing, frustrating Gold, who had thought Ard would impress the nobility sufficiently to advance Ard to an academy instructor. When Irina sees Ginny, she loses her temper despite having prepared to do something similar as an act of remorse for her jealousy. Before Ard can stop them, Professor Jessica discovers them and explains Gold's scheme to make Ard an instructor. She then declares they will duel at the duel event in front of Queen Rosie. Three of the judges at the duel event, including his parents and Irina's father, Olhide, are making Ard feel down. Irina and Ginny triumph over their rivals since they both gained lost skills from Ard. Demon cultists suddenly appear in the audience as their own battle is about to start, and Jessica stabs Olhide in the back to reveal that she is truly Elzard, the frenzied Dragon King, and that their entire strategy has been to kidnap Irina. Ginny sustains injuries while defending Irina and is unable to stop Elzard from kidnapping Irina. Olhide's wounds are treated created by Ard, who also grants Ard access to the royal arsenal so he can rescue Irina. As part of a rite to call upon an evil god and destroy the world she despises, Elzard is getting ready to sacrifice Irina to a creature known as the Orphan of Chaos. Ard arrives in time to destroy the monster and Elzard's followers after telling Ginny he would save Irina. By stating that Irina's family is the real royal family and is descended from the evil gods, Elzard tries to turn him against Irina, but he remains unconcerned. Elzard is impaled during their fight, but she recovers and attacks once more in her actual dragon form. Ard transforms back into his Varvatos form and calls an image of Lydia to battle beside him. Elzard's loneliness, he surmises, was really what drove him, but he was still wrong to threaten Irina, so he kills her. As Lydia vanishes, Ard returns to normal. Irina is first afraid of him as they make their way home, but she soon realizes that he welcomed her despite uncovering her secret, and she makes a promise to get strong enough to stand by his side in battle. A young girl named Sylphie finds the world has altered when she escapes from a dungeon. A masked figure tells her that because time doesn't flow normally in that particular dungeon, 3,000 years have passed while she was within. He reveals that although Varvatos and her sister Lydia passed away in the past, Varvatos' soul has since taken on the form of Ard Meteor. Gold wants Ard to participate in a stage performance at the Academy's upcoming festival. In addition, he discloses that Lars Al Ghul has threatened them. Ard pretends ignorance while Sylphie questions him about his rebirth and what happened to Lydia. But Olivia, who knew Sylphie 3,000 years ago, is greatly intrigued by Sylphie's assertions. After Ard defeats Sylphie in a fight, Sylphie loses her cool and gets reprimanded by Irina, who also makes her cry by reminding her of Lydia. According to popular demand, Ard will play Varvatos in the performance of his life, with Irina playing Lydia and Sylphie portraying the evil god. For their class project, they decide to hold a maid cafe at the festival, complete with maids dressed in risque attire created by Ginny, which the females would only consent to wear if they were told they may serve Ard. The man in the mask observes everything, anticipating Sylphie's response when she hears the truth about what truly happened 3,000 years ago. Sylphie upsets festival attendees and is then transferred to the maid cafe. Ard discovers a tree that is said to hold something that the Great Sword King has sealed. Olivia admits that against Ard's wishes, she competed in the Great Sword King event. The Vald Galgus replica, which was originally Lydia's sword and was used by the Great Sword King, is the tournament prize. In winning their tournament matches, Olivia, Irina, Ard, Sylphie, and Ginny advance to the finals. Ginny invites Ard to participate in a Miss and Mr. Beauty contest alongside her. At the beauty pageant, Eraldo is seen by Ard, who learns that Ginny was his childhood friend, but that he bullied her because of his father's teachings that everyone who was not noble was inferior. He wants to repent and receive forgiveness in the future. Ard feels bad because he still hasn't been honest with Sylphie. Irina, who wanted to compete, is upset that Ard and Ginny win the competition. The following combat pits Ard against Olivia, who tries to coerce him into disclosing his abilities. Ard rejects, unintentionally blasting Olivia into the distance. Ard was disqualified for lying, and Olivia was disqualified for being late. Irina challenges Ginny to a battle in which they continue to debate Ginny's harem strategy until Irina prevails. The masked man decides to play about with the current circumstances a little because he's dissatisfied with them. The Battle of Avia Desavirs, which Ard won because Sylphie set up several magical traps on the battlefield and took the sword of the enemy commander for herself, is the subject of the play. Ard realizes it. The man in the mask comes up to Sylphie. The duplicate of the Vald Galgus is won by Sylphie the next day versus Irina in their last match. When Ard encounters her beside the tree, she reveals that the duplicate is truly Vald Galgus and that the object imprisoned in the tree is its source of power. Before attempting to murder Ard, she unites the two into the whole Vald Galgus and calls forth Demise Argus. The masked man is revealed to have put Sylphie under mind control and shown her a collection of Ard killing Lydia as he gleefully observes. When Sylphie recognizes Lydia's voice, Ard assumes his Varvatos form, and the mind control is dislodged. Disappointed, the disguised man takes the two swords to slay Ard himself, explaining that in order to revive his real lord, he must sacrifice Irina. He is rejected by the two swords because he lacks the strength to use them, so Ard kills him. The ghost of Lydia visits and tells Sylphie that Ard was not to blame for her death and to concentrate on living a fulfilling life. Ard is not shocked when Lydia refers to him as a fool before running away. Except for Ard, Irina, and Ginny, the class is on a field trip when time abruptly freezes. They're then transported to a white nothingness, where they see a boy who is claiming to be a deity. Varvatos will encounter a being who will try to end the world, the boy claims, and he wants them to stop it. When they discover there are 2 moons in the sky when they awaken in the wilderness, Ard understands they have been transported to the time of Varvatos' rule in the past, and says one of the moons was destroyed. They save a young woman from a large scorpion. When Olivia shows up, she praises them for saving her subordinate and invites them to enlist in Varvatos' army to fight against extraterrestrial creatures. She offers them native clothing, and Ard asks them to serve under Verda, a scholar who doesn't engage in combat so the girls will be secure. By failing to recognize Verda because she doesn't resemble the historical figure depicted in the documents, Irina and Ginny unintentionally humiliate her. Verda assures them she will assist them as they explain they're from the future. When Sylphie and Lydia arrive to ask for help, Lydia becomes drawn to Ginny and starts to harass her sexually. Lydia irately challenges Ard to a fight, which results in a draw after Ard intercedes. Lydia refuses Ard's plea for a meeting with Varvatos, saying they must first prove their mettle in combat. The group stays at Latimer's house, where Ginny is subjected to Lydia's unwanted advances in the bathroom. After they engage in combat, Ard skillfully overpowers the opposing general, impressing Lydia sufficiently for her to secure them a meeting with Varvatos and inspiring envious Sylphie. Alvarto picks a fight along the road with Ard, but Varvatos and Lydia reprimand and remove him. When Irina and Ginny start to show interest in him, Ard starts to feel a little envious of his former self. Varvatos informs the group that he is not known as the Demon Lord and that the enemy's leader is in fact known by that name. They examine the contradictions with Verda after Varvatos dismisses them, and she hypothesizes that the Demon Lord, with whom Varvatos previously battled to a draw, is the entity the god wanted them to stop and is rewriting history. Varvatos will need to be impressed by what they accomplish if they want to see him again, so Ginny proposes telling him the truth. Irina and Ginny are left behind as Ard goes on a raid of Mevalos, the Curse King, with Lydia and Sylphie. Ard recalls that Mevalos was the one who cursed Lydia and made Varvatos kill her. The Demon Lord, a dark knight with armor, kills Mevalos before they reach his fortress and proclaims that he will destroy Varvatos and rule the world before vanishing. Later, Lydia inquires as to what is bothering him, and Ard asks in a coded manner what she would do if she had to die in order to right a wrong. She shows him the town she had to massacre everyone in during the war, even the children, and tells him that she is already resolved to pass away in complete obscurity one day after the world has at last reached peace out of guilt. During the following battle, Ard slips away to meet Disaster Rogue and says he will let Lydia die if she chooses to do so, since he will not reject her own remorse. Disaster Rogue assaults him, but since they have comparable skills, neither of them can prevail, until Disaster Rogue confesses that he timed the battle to clash with their duel in order to divert his attention, that is. Irina is angry that Ard abandoned her and Ginny, so Latimer sends the 2 of them on a quest to remove the crystal that gives Disaster Rogue his immortality. When they get there, however, Latimer turns on them and ties them to magic nullifying crosses, revealing that she is a Disaster Rogue agent. Disaster Rogue reveals the captive ladies to Ard and demands him to follow him or else they will perish, claiming that he will kill anyone to defend Lydia. Irina and Ginny use unusual magic taught to them by Ard to get away from the crosses. Unfazed, Latimer calls forth a group of demons, pledging to kill anyone in order to save Lydia. As she had placed monitoring devices on the 2, Lydia shows up, vanquishes the monsters, knocks Latimer out, and then shatters the crystal. Disaster Rogue lashes out at Ard in a fit of wrath after losing his immortality. They both recall an argument they had with Lydia and wish they hadn't. Disaster Rogue is restrained by a vision of Lydia, allowing Ard to execute him. As soon as he passes away, Ard, Irina, and Ginny begin to vanish. The 2 girls are asked if the people in the future are happy by Lydia, who is aware that they were from the future. She wants them to send a message to Ard after they confirm it. The deity rewards Ard for succeeding in the white vacuum. He declines to give his name but claims to be an ally. Shortly after they left, the group awakens in the present while Olivia and Sylphie chastise them for dozing off. No matter what happens, they will always be friends. Irina relays Lydia's word. Ard is delighted to find Lydia's ghost keeping an eye on him. Now we've reached the end of the recap. Hope you had a good time with this one. If you did, be sure to like the video and share your feedback in the comments below. For more captivating videos like this, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notifications. Until next time.